Is there a doctor on board? Please, somebody help! Her husband's frantic screams were the last thing Carol remembered hearing, as what should have been a dream vacation quickly turned into a living nightmare. The background music stopped abruptly, as tourists from all over the world gathered around and gasped at the 202-pound blob that was Carol, as she lay collapsed on the deck, sweating and clutching her chest, praying that she would see her children again. And then, all went dark. What happened next is truly shocking, but it would force Carol to embark upon a journey that has changed the lives of thousands of women, helping them to break free from the shackles of repulsive body fat and reclaim their lives as healthy, slim, confident women. As so, if you're a woman over the age of 30 with more than 10 pounds of fat to lose, I urge you to listen closely for the next 3 minutes as I reveal the groundbreaking scientific discovery that saved Carol's figure, her marriage, and her life, while leaving her doctors speechless. Not long ago, Carol had been a slim, happy, and vibrant young woman with a promising career ahead of her. But as the years ticked on and Carol entered her 30s, the numbers on that dreaded bathroom scale seemed to increase every time she dared to look down. And the weight gain was completely out of her control. Carol ballooned from a healthy 142 pounds to a humongous 202 pounds, and her flawless figure was buried beneath embarrassing rolls of fat and cellulite. Carol had gained a staggering 60 pounds, and because of this, unsightly fat overflowed her jeans and bulged out around her bra straps. Worse still, when she waved goodbye to her kids at the school gate, she felt crippling shame as a heavy wing of fat shook beneath her arm as the skinny moms looked on in silent judgment. In an effort to regain control, Carol tried counting calories and cutting carbs. She joined the gym and even bought an at-home exercise bike, but nothing worked. Little did Carol know that she was suffering with something called the caveman instinct, something that affects each and every one of us. This potentially deadly phenomenon contributes directly to increasingly common lifestyle-induced diseases, such as type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Humans crave high-energy foods, like fats and carbohydrates, because such food was hard to come by in the Stone Age, but can now be consumed in great abundance to the detriment of the body. And so, the body you once felt proud of, the body your husband desired, is quickly buried beneath by ever-increasing quantities of fat. And as if that wasn't bad enough, our caveman instinct catalyzes something which we now know as reverse adipose thermogenesis, which actually sends your body's fat storage system into overdrive. And so, before you know it, you are completely powerless in your fight against weight gain. But all hope is not lost. And that's because, thanks to a near-death experience, Carol would accidentally discover the easy fat-burning hack that completely changes your mindset, allowing you to turn off that otherwise natural caveman instinct and to switch your body from fat storage mode to fat-burning mode. And so, if you're looking to drop a dress size or 3 or 10, then pay close attention, as I can guarantee that whilst this secret fat-burning hack is something that you almost certainly have heard of, it is also something that you most certainly have not tried before or even considered. This is something that the doctors, dietitians, or self-proclaimed gurus won't tell you, and for once, this is something that not only works, but also works to keep the weight off. Just as it has done for 32-year-old Ellen Taylor, who lost an impressive 35 pounds, 52-year-old Wendy Ford, who ditched 27 pounds of unwanted body fat, and 45-year-old Julie Adams, who dropped a monumental 67 pounds and kept it off. And it is because of this same scientifically verified fat-burning hack that Carol was able to watch as her love handles, thunder thighs, and flabby arms melted away before her very eyes. In just a few minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what that hack is, and you will be shocked when you find out. But on that terrifying day, on a luxury cruise along London's River Thames, as pain shot down Carol's left arm and spots covered her eyes, the belly hanging over her ill-fitting jeans was the least of her worries. Because in that moment, Carol genuinely thought that her life was over. Carol's body had become a ticking time bomb. Not only was excess fat now bulging from her once delicate frame, visceral fat had also been accumulating around her vital organs. What's more, Her arteries had become clogged with deadly cholesterol, and her weakening heart could no longer take the strain. And so, at just 34 years old, Carol had a heart attack. But God was looking down on her that day. Carol's life was saved, and in more ways than one. You see, not only did Carol's husband avoid a life as a widower, and not only did her children narrowly escape growing up without a mother, Carol was also given a second chance to completely turn her life around. And that's because on that very same day, the day that her life almost ended, Carol would discover a secret that would lead her to lose 61 pounds of deadly body fat. And the Carol you see today is almost unrecognizable. She went from hiding in sweatpants and baggy t-shirts to showing off her slender physique in the cute tops and summer dresses that she hadn't worn since college. And the dark circles under her eyes faded by the day. Her complexion brightened and she looked 10 years younger. And, thanks to her youthful glow and sexy slim body, Carol's husband couldn't keep his hands off her, which was just fine by her, as Carol's libido was as high as it had been in her teens. But that's not all. The chronic pain that Carol had felt daily in her knees and lower back disappeared entirely, and she was able to safely come off her hypertension medication. In fact, Carol's physician was near speechless when he saw her drastic transformation, and the fears he once had about her pre-diabetic condition were now out the window. Overall, Carol had more energy, she slept soundly each night, and was finally able to enjoy life again. And this change wasn't down to any fad diet or crazy exercise regime. It was all down to one simple method: hypnosis. You see, the reason that hundreds of thousands of women fail to lose weight by following diets and hitting the gym is because we are naturally programmed to fight against such things. It's that caveman instinct telling you that you want that spaghetti carbonara, or telling you that gym session you planned is nothing but a chore. Because the reality is that we evolved to crave sugar, starch, and fat. We evolved to be physically active, but we also evolved to be lazy, which means that no matter how much you try, that caveman instinct within you will always be working against you and preventing you from losing weight. And that's where hypnosis comes in. Think about how many times you've thought to yourself how great it'd be if you craved salad rather than pizza, or if you woke up in the morning every day and actually wanted to go out jogging or to the gym. Impossible, right? Well, actually no, because with hypnosis, that's exactly what happens. In fact, studies have proven that hypnosis can permanently rewire and reset the human brain so that not only are the decisions and desire to lose weight or stop eating junk food or comfort eating reinforced, but the mind is completely altered to move toward what is healthy and away from what is unhealthy. Numerous scientific studies have found that people who use hypnosis lost more than twice as much weight as those who dieted without the cognitive therapy. And there are thousands of stories just like Carol's, of women whose lives have been transformed by hypnosis.
Hi, I'm Angela Doughty. I have a degree in cognitive science from the University of Hertfordshire. I know how the brain works, and I know that to create lasting change, you need to reprogram the way you think about things and your reactions to stimulus. So this is why the Surtees method works, because it works on a subconscious level that makes you change the way you feel and think about a situation. Everyone who wants to lose weight knows the steps they need to take, but it demands a lot of willpower, so they often fail. And that's why I'd recommend the Surtees method, because it's effortless and it allows you to lose weight without willpower. I put on a lot of weight when I was carrying my first child, but even after birth, my weight gain continued. And even through trying diets and with just willpower and trying exercise, it was continuing to go up rather than go down. And that's when I thought I needed something more.
I tried a few diets before, nothing major, but a lot of it involved willpower, which I just generally didn't have. I just couldn't be strong enough to not eat the sweet things, to not crave things. I had to have them all the time. So if I didn't get the Surtees method in hypnosis, I would have probably been a lot bigger. I was 180 pounds, so I would have just been probably getting a lot larger and even more unhappier when I looked in the mirror. Before the Surtees method, for about 10 years, I'd always had issues with my weight, up, down. In general, I just struggled. And it was getting a bit out of control. So I'd have to eat something sweet after every meal, lunch, dinner. I literally craved it. And I'd spend 80% of my day thinking, what am I going to eat in terms of sugary things? As opposed to food, I would be thinking, what am I going to have after I eat?
In a few moments' time, I'm going to tell you not only about how hypnosis can work for you, but I'm also going to introduce you to one of Britain's leading hypnotists and life coaches, a man who has made a whole host of television, newspaper, and magazine appearances, and the man responsible for lifting hundreds of women up from the depths of despair by helping them to lose weight with ease and give them a new life. Because with his help, in no time at all, you will have your own story to tell, and you will be able to achieve it all from the comfort of your own home. This clinically proven fat-burning hack works for anyone with 10 or more pounds of fat to lose, but is especially effective for women over the age of 30. In fact, the more weight you have to lose, the faster this works, even on women in their early 80s. And since weight loss occurs as a consequence of changing your mindset and burning fat naturally, you can forget about the things that you've tried and despised in the past, whether that be calorie counting, slimming clubs, or expensive supplements. Because sure, those fad diets and quick fixes may work in the short term, but as you know all too well, before long, the fat you lose comes back with a vengeance, and then some. With hypnosis, things are entirely different. And today, you will discover the fat-burning trigger that is already lying dormant in your psyche. Hi there, I'm Carol. And believe it or not, I'm the same Carol that you saw at the start of this video. Grossly overweight, keeled over and clutching my chest, on the day that I almost died of a heart attack. That was the most terrifying day of my life. But now, I can barely recognize that woman. She was depressed, lethargic, and hid her inflated body beneath shapeless, baggy clothing. Now, the woman I see in the mirror is slim, sexy, healthy, and confident, and clothes shopping is my new favorite hobby. But before I discovered hypnosis, losing even 5 pounds and keeping it off seemed almost impossible. And that's because the diet and weight loss industry didn't want me to succeed. Trust me when I say that I know exactly how you're feeling right now. I'm an ordinary woman, just like you. I'm not some Instagram nutrition coach or bogus personal trainer. I'm a wife, a mother to 2 beautiful sons, and for years my body was my prison. But I turned it all around with one simple-to-implement lifestyle change. And you can too. I know that in the past you failed by counting calories or following a celebrity bikini body diet, but it wasn't your fault. Because the reality is that our natural caveman instinct will always prevent us from truly following through with our efforts and gaining our desired results. But I discovered something different. I'm talking about something that allows you to completely alter your mindset so that your natural caveman instinct to crave unhealthy foods and to loathe fat-burning exercise is actually reversed. You see, while for many people, hypnotism is synonymous with entertainment and comical stage performances, what hypnotism is in actuality is something incredibly powerful, which has been verified time and time again by science. Thanks to advancements in medical technology, scientists have been able to use the latest neurological scanning equipment to investigate changes in the brain while a patient is under hypnosis. And what they've found has been nothing short of astounding. Hypnosis actually has the power to change electrochemical activity in the brain, moving brain activity away from the default mode network and towards the prefrontal lobes. The prefrontal lobes are thought to generate higher-order thoughts, otherwise known as the third eye. When a highly skilled spiritual healer induces a seeker into a state of hypnosis, the healer can reprogram the seeker's mind. He or she is able to cleanse their subconscious of negative energy, override toxic thought patterns, end decade-long bad habits, and banish doubt, worry, fear, and anxiety. And all of that negativity, that caveman instinct, can be replaced with confidence, motivation, positivity, high self-esteem, and the ability to not only live a healthy and fulfilled life, but to enjoy doing so. It will be as though you were once Pinocchio, the wooden boy, formerly limited and longing for change, suddenly transformed by one wave of the fairy's magic wand, now able to live a healthy and fulfilling life with all the love, joy, and adventure you desire. The Buddha said, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Only when we change our thought patterns can we change our lives." 99% of the population have their third eye obscured by something that scientists refer to as brain fog. But to be more technical, brain fog is, in essence, when the electrons in your brain are vibrating at a low frequency. And when your consciousness is trapped in that low energy state, it is extremely difficult, if not impossible, for someone to remain motivated and lose weight. And that is because when your vibration is low, you attract low-frequency things, such as demotivation, depression, and poor health. And the only way to change your life in any positive, meaningful, and long-lasting way is by raising your vibration. And that's where the unique powers that I'm going to tell you about can help you. And it's thanks to these powers that I was able to lose 61 pounds of fat, rid myself of pain and disease, and finally enjoy my life. But before all of that, I had a very different life. At 25 years old, I was set to embark on a successful career in marketing after gaining a contract at a lucrative firm. I'd studied hard at university, and this was my dream job. I was all set in life, or so I thought. But then, just as my career was getting started, I realized I was late. My boyfriend James and I had been dating for about 8 months, and you could say that we hadn't exactly been careful in the bedroom. And so, one cold October morning, James and I walked uneasily to the drugstore to buy the test. He sat on the edge of the bathtub as we waited, as we watched a thin blue line appear in the white window. Pregnant. If my career had been a dream, in that moment I came crashing back down to earth, and I landed with a thud. We were both in shock. I'd always hoped to become a mother someday, but not at 25. Not when my life was just getting started. But I also knew that getting rid of the baby was not an option. And so, if that were God's will for me, then so be it. 8 months later, when our beautiful son came into the world, my whole perspective on life changed. I no longer cared about the marketing career I'd left behind, or that my waist was far from the 28 inches it had been, because my son was my everything. James and I married that same year, and 2 years later, we welcomed our second son into the world. And for a while, everything was perfect. I relished being a new wife and a young mother. But by the time my firstborn was in kindergarten, something started to change. The jeans I'd always fit in wouldn't button up, and there was an extra tire around my waist. But I told myself it was just holiday weight, and so I bought a bigger pair of jeans, just to be comfortable until I lost the weight again. But when summer came around, I wasn't any slimmer. In fact, my arms were larger, my thighs were wider, and my belly looked bigger than ever before. Months passed, and I went up another dress size, and then another. The cute outfits I once wore to catch my husband's lustful gaze were swapped for baggy t-shirts and sweatpants. Then one day, as I stood naked in front of the bathroom mirror, examining my once slim, toned body, noticing the areas where more than 40 pounds of fat had accumulated, I knew the time had come to take action. Having been a scrawny teenager and a slim college student, I'd never been on a diet before, and so I had no idea where to start. I did a quick Google search and was bombarded with dozens of different diets, each professing to be the ultimate fat loss program. There was the Atkins diet, the vegan diet, the paleo diet, the whole foods plant-based diet, the carnivore diet, the 5-2 diet, the fruitarian diet, the juice cleanse, the Eat Stop Eat method, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, and even water fasting. I was told to weigh myself, weigh my meals, count calories, cut carbs, not eat before bed, drink 8 glasses of water per day, meal prep, and keep a food journal. I had no idea that dieting was a full-time vocation. Then there was the exercise side of things, which was 5 times more confusing and infinitely more exhausting. Should I do low-intensity endurance cardio or high-intensity interval training? Should I do body weight workouts or exercise with weights? Should I train fasted or after a meal? Should I drink a protein shake before or after my workout? Did I need a personal trainer or could I go it alone? Could I do yoga at home, or should I join a yoga class? Over the months and years that followed, I tried every diet and workout program in the book. I'd go for weeks without sugar, then break when I smelled fresh muffins as I walked by the door of a bakery. I'd perform hours of grueling cardio, then spend days rubbing my sore muscles and limping down the stairs. I threw out every cookie, potato chip, and frozen pizza from our house, and all for nothing. Because although I'd experienced some short-term success with those diets, before long, the weight would always creep back on, along with a few extra pounds as I gave in to that caveman instinct within me. And those drastic weight fluctuations made me feel like crap. My body had no idea what was going on. I was losing sleep, losing my hair, and missing periods, and my sex drive was nowhere to be found. By the time I was 34, I'd gained a whopping 60 pounds of fat. I no longer recognized my body or the face I saw in the mirror. My eyes were puffy, my complexion dull, and there was an emerging double chin where my slender neck used to be. But I persisted, with spin class, kale smoothies, and skinny teas, all in the hope that I could lose the weight and actually keep it off. But nothing worked. You see, when we're young and in our early 20s, our hormones are well balanced. We have a healthy appetite, and our bodies burn excess fat as fuel. That caveman instinct within us is temporarily equalized by our body's strong metabolic functions. But for many women, as we approach our 30s, things begin to change. Our hormones become imbalanced, often exacerbated by fad diets and calorie restriction, which cause us to store more fat. And if left unchecked, we continue to gain more and more weight with each passing year. Did you know that the human body secretes and circulates 50 different hormones? These chemical messengers coordinate complex processes in the body, such as metabolism, growth, fertility, and more. And when it comes to weight management, there are a whole host of hormones responsible for whether you store or burn fat. These hormones include insulin, glucagon, leptin, ghrelin, cortisol, human growth hormone, and more. And the delicate balance of these hormones plays a role in whether you live a fit and healthy life or whether you're trapped inside a heavy, lethargic, and sick body that holds you back from achieving your goals. But none of this is new information. For decades, the weight loss companies have been trying to sell you supplements and diets that will restore your youthful hormone balance. But such claims have always been entirely unfounded. And that's because none of their quick fixes deal with the underlying problem. Because, like almost everything in life, losing weight is all in the mind. Your friends don't know about this. Your personal trainer doesn't know about this. And even your doctor doesn't know about this. And yet this discovery could change your life. So listen closely, because the start of my weight loss journey came in the most unforeseen of circumstances. By the time I was 34, I weighed a shameful 202 pounds, 60 pounds more than when I first met my husband. But despite my lack of confidence and our non-existent sex life, we still loved each other very much. For our wedding anniversary, we decided to take the vacation we'd talked about for years. We were going to England. I'd never been to London before, and I fell in love with it instantly. On the third day of our trip, James had arranged a surprise for me, a luxury dinner cruise, which would allow us to take in the incredible sights and architecture along the River Thames whilst dining and drinking in five-star style. But as I climbed on board the luxury vessel, I was instantly gripped with shame and anxiety. All around me were younger, happier, slimmer people, laughing and smiling. Suddenly, I became painfully conscious of my middle-aged mom body, my hanging belly, dimpled thighs, and wide, shapeless ass. And although this was meant to be my husband's gift to me for our anniversary, he couldn't help but look at the other women. I tried to relax, to enjoy the food, the atmosphere, and the stunning views, but every time I caught a glimpse of my reflection in a window or looked down at my enormous body, I felt my chest tighten. I reached for another glass of champagne to calm my nerves, but an intense anxiety overwhelmed me, and that's when it hit me. The onset of a heart attack. But in those split seconds, before it all went dark, as my life flashed before my eyes, everything became crystal clear. It didn't matter what those strangers thought of me. What mattered was seeing my beautiful children again, and living a happy, healthy, long life with them. And so I prayed to God to give me just one more chance. As you know, I survived that day, But my prognosis was not good. After being rushed to the hospital, the on-duty doctor told me that while I may be aware of the fat accumulating around my body, I probably had no idea about the fat surrounding my organs or clogging my arteries, and that because of this, the heart attack was inevitable. He told me to be thankful that this time it was only mild, as next time I may not be so lucky. The doctor went on to explain that at my weight, with more than 60 pounds of excess fat inside my body, it was only a matter of time before I had a stroke or heart attack, or developed vascular disease, atherosclerosis, diabetes, or cancer. I felt scared and defeated. Hearing every disease that could be my future listed out like that was too much for me to bear. I was desperate, helpless, and felt like a beached whale lying there in my hospital bed. And that's when it happened. With little else to do, I took the pair of earphones that had been provided to me and switched on the television, which was conveniently attached to the hospital bed. Little did I know that the man that I saw on my screen when I switched that television on would change my life forever. I remember it clearly. The BBC, Britain's flagship television channel, was showing a documentary about a hypnotist. That hypnotist was none other than Mr. Aaron Surtees. Aaron is a world-renowned hypnotist with more than 15 years of professional experience and a whole host of television, newspaper, and magazine appearances. As I watched, I saw the way in which Aaron was changing people's lives. I saw him cure people of smoking addiction, drug addiction, and even the fear of getting in an elevator. But it was what I saw next that was of most interest to me. It became clear that Aaron's powers also extended to helping people lose masses of weight, and that he was doing so on a daily basis. On the program, Aaron explained that, contrary to popular belief, weight loss is far more about the control of the mind than it is the control of the body. He explained that hypnosis works by putting mutually agreed positive suggestions into your subconscious mind, with the theory that it becomes second nature to live by these laws. I saw numerous examples of the way in which Aaron was helping women to lose shocking amounts of weight, simply by reprogramming their minds to address the issues they were facing and to embrace a healthier lifestyle. These were women who had been facing the exact same problems as me, and there they were only a few months on, looking like totally different people. They looked happy, radiant, and above all, slim. And it was all down to a man who lived just a stone's throw away from the hospital in which I lay at my lowest ebb. This simply had to be a sign from God. The moment visiting hours started for the day, James was at my bedside, and I couldn't wait to tell him what I'd seen. I just had this sixth sense that this was going to be the answer to all of my problems. James was skeptical at first, but I was insistent, and he promised to go to Aaron's offices to see if he'd be prepared to help me in my hour of need. The next day, James returned with a gleaming smile on his face. Having told Aaron of my plight, Aaron had agreed to see me the moment I was given an all-clear to leave the hospital. I was elated. It felt like God was granting me that last chance that I'd prayed for. As my last few days in the hospital went by, I tried to process everything that had happened to me. I'd just gone through a near-death experience. I was shaken, fragile, and a long way from home. Yet for the first time in a long while, I suddenly felt optimistic about my future. I was now pinning all of my hopes upon Aaron. This really had to be it. The moment I left my hospital bed, my husband and I made a rush for Aaron's offices in Holborn. As we made our way to his building, I was once again overcome with a feeling that meaningful change was about to occur. A burst of energy fizzed through every atom in my body, and then I had arrived. Aaron greeted me warmly, and after a customary exchange of pleasantries and a check on how I was doing after my ordeal, I was on his couch and we were ready to begin. Aaron's words came softly, as though from an enlightened being, and although I'd been hypnotized once before, something felt different this time. Serenity washed over me as I sank deeper into Aaron's words. I felt wonderfully calm, but awake. Moments later, as I arose from my daze, I felt lighter and brighter than I'd done before, though still very much myself. And yet, already I could sense that my mind had been programmed to work in a different way. In the few days we had left of our trip in London, I felt like a totally different person. No longer did I crave or obsess over unhealthy food. I was actually going to restaurants and ordering the most healthy dishes on the menu. Not because I felt I had to, but because I wanted to. And those foods that before seemed bland and unappetizing now seemed delicious and fulfilling. I also felt a new sort of cosmic energy enter my life, an energy I hadn't felt in years. Every day, James and I went on 10-kilometer walks along the Thames. I felt completely reborn. It was as though a switch had been flicked on inside of me, and suddenly, I was shrinking. After just 3 days, my pants wouldn't stay up. I had to dig around in my suitcase for a belt and make new holes with a pair of scissors. On the final day of our holiday, we paid one last visit to Aaron's offices. I remember it now. Aaron actually gasped when he saw the difference between me on that day and the way I looked just a few days earlier. "You look 10 pounds lighter already," he exclaimed. Not only had I already visibly started to lose weight, but my whole complexion had been completely transformed. Already, I looked 5 years younger. After that second session with Aaron, I was ready to head home with my head held high, and the positive effects seemed to increase exponentially. I felt as though I had an energy field around me, or some kind of magnetic aura that was drawing health inward. The way I thought about food, exercise, and my whole lifestyle in general had been completely altered. After the first week, none of my clothes fit me properly. After 2 weeks, my husband took me to the local market to buy some cheap transition clothes, as we both believed that very soon they wouldn't fit me either. More time passed, and eventually, with my family by my side, I found the courage to step on the bathroom scale. And I'd lost 16 pounds. I couldn't believe it. Tears of joy rolled down my cheeks. I turned around and collapsed into James's arms. "I knew you could do it," he said lovingly as he kissed me on the forehead. My biggest fear at that point was that I'd regain all the weight I'd lost, which had happened so many times in the past. But this was different. I had absolutely no desire to go back to the kinds of junk food I'd craved before meeting Aaron, and I no longer saw food as a comfort or something to do when bored or stressed. I was a happy, healthy woman who was now full of energy, so there was no fear of fat making a comeback. Day by day, I watched as the fat disappeared, and beneath it, the young girl I once knew began to reemerge. I lost 30 pounds, then 40, then 50, with ease. In fact, it was virtually effortless, until eventually I reached my goal weight. I was 61 pounds lighter than the day of the heart attack. I was back to being myself again, and I cannot tell you how good it felt to be free from a body that felt like a prison, to not get out of breath walking up the stairs, to have the energy to play with my children, to have the confidence and the desire to make love to my husband, and to see a happy, slim, bright-eyed young woman staring back at me in the mirror. From the day that I achieved my goal weight, I knew that I wanted to help other women to look and feel just as amazing as I did. I wanted to give depressed and hopeless women the essential guidance to lose weight, regain their confidence, and maybe even save their lives. And that's when I contacted Aaron again. I thanked him from the bottom of my heart for what he had done for me, and I asked him if there was anything we could do together to help more women who were in the same situation that I was in. Aaron was excited by the idea. After seeing how his techniques had completely transformed women's lives, saving them from disease and giving them their confidence back, he knew that he had to do more. There were hundreds of thousands of women around the world desperate to lose weight, and together we were going to help them, even if that meant going head-to-head with the pharmaceutical companies. And so, Aaron set out to create a digital version of his incredible hypnosis sessions so that this surefire fat loss method would be accessible to women everywhere, right from their own homes. Aaron coined it the Surtees Method. The Surtees Method uses the safe, natural technique of hypnosis to reprogram your mind so it becomes automatic for you to eat the right foods at the right times in the right amounts. You will no longer obsess about food and will only think about it when you are hungry. As a result, a long-term, consistent, healthy relationship with food is created in your mindset, bringing about lasting changes in eating habits. All you need is a pair of headphones and 5 minutes of free time each day, and your transformational journey can begin. Aaron has compacted all of his incredible weight loss hypnosis sessions into a series of short, powerful audio tracks so that you can experience a divine transformation with ease. And don't worry, Aaron's technique isn't the "when I click my fingers, you'll be asleep" kind of stage hypnosis that you might have seen on the television. Instead, it works by putting your body in a completely relaxed state and then putting suggestions into your subconscious mind. You will feel relaxed and extremely comfortable at all times.
I was very relaxed and calm, but I was wondering whether it would actually work when I left. But that night I noticed that I'd left food on my plate, and it's just unheard of. It's always been mum telling me, finish your plate, and that's the way it goes in my family. So that was a surprise, a really pleasant surprise. And consistently, night after night, I wouldn't feel the need to finish my plate, and that was effortless. I didn't feel like I was on a diet, and over 4 months I've lost 28 pounds.
In Module 1, your mind will be reprogrammed to include appetite dial reduction and to prevent you from comfort eating and eating out of boredom. Module 2 will allow you to visualize your perfect shape. This hypnosis program helps you see your ideal, slimmer, and happier you and make that weekly progression towards your ultimate goal. In Module 3, Erin will reprogram your mind to stop overthinking about food and stop overeating. You will be given the ability to think about food only when hungry and to feel full and satisfied much quicker. Module 4 is based on the food that you eat when you are stressed. It will enable you to feel calmer and happier without connecting a bad day with eating food that you don't need. And finally, in Module 5, you will be given the ability to focus on slower, more conscious eating, allowing your brain to recognize when you are full and to stop at that point. Less becomes more, and smaller portions of food become a way of life, while snacking becomes a habit of the past. At no point will you feel like you're restricting yourself. The only time you'll even remember that you're following a weight loss program is when you see those pounds melt away in front of the mirror and the number on the scale plummet. And this method can work for you whether you have 10, 20, 50, or even 100 or more pounds to lose. It works for anyone at any age, but is especially effective for women. And I cannot wait for you to experience how good it feels to fit in those jeans again, to notice your complexion brighten, to attract the male gaze once more, and to feel fitter and healthier than you have done in years. The Surtees Method empowered 29-year-old Lisa Ross to lose 34 pounds of body fat, whilst also clearing up her acne and IBS. The Surtees Method gave 44-year-old Joan Dinsdale the confidence to lose 31 pounds of fat whilst nabbing herself a new man in the process. And the Surtees Method helped 56-year-old Martha Jenkins to love herself again after losing 41 pounds of body fat, as well as freeing her from 6 different unhealthy prescription medications. The true value of the Surtees Method is unquantifiable. How can anyone put a price on the ability to lose such an incredible amount of weight and turn their life around? To even come close to valuing this course, you would need to attach a price tag of tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, Erin's usual rate for an hour-long session is north of $500. But luckily for you, Erin is not in this for the money. He has been crystal clear from day one that helping people is his calling in life. So, in order to help as many people as possible, we're making it unbelievably affordable. In fact, the small amount you pay will be going directly to Erin's product development team and the customer service department. We will not be taking a penny for ourselves. And that's why all you're paying is the incredibly low price that you see on screen right now. And trust me when I say that is nothing for a solution that will completely change and perhaps even save your life. Just as it has done already for hundreds of women all over the world, such as Trisha Logan from Nevada, who wrote in to say, "I just started using the Surtees Method and I already lost 17 pounds. I can't stop smiling. Thank you so much." And Arian Reeves from Toronto, who said, "I'm now 6 months in, and not only have I kept the weight off, but I'm still dropping dress sizes. The Surtees Method is a godsend. And when you purchase the Surtees Method today, you will be doing so safely and securely with a 60-day satisfaction guarantee. This method has worked for hundreds of women, and it can work for you too. But I want you to feel confident about making this investment in yourself. And so I've made sure your purchase is protected. And so, if you feel as though you're not seeing your desired weight loss results within the next 2 months, we will give you a full refund. But honestly, I cannot see how that could even be possible, as this bulletproof method works for anyone of any age with any amount of fat to lose. Whether you have restricted mobility, specialist dietary requirements, diabetes, or even metabolic syndrome, the Surtees Method is the weight loss solution you need. And to make your experience as smooth as possible, we have assembled an incomparable customer service team to guide you on your journey. This dedicated, close-knit group of women have each experienced success with the Surtees Method, so they know exactly what you're going through, and they will be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. The very last thing this experience should be is stressful. If anything, it should be fun, as there is no better feeling in the world than seeing the number on that scale drop. And before long, you can be experiencing that thrill on a regular basis.
I remember I was having my dinner and the thought hadn't really crept into my mind, but I didn't think anything of it. When I'd finished, I remember thinking, I did think about having something sweet, but it wasn't enough to make me have it, and I didn't. And I remember thinking that was the first time in 10 years that I didn't actually crave something sweet after my food, which was the most amazing feeling, to be honest, because I'd lived like that for 10 years, needing to eat something sweet, and that was the first time I hadn't. And that sort of, I realised how permanent and how effective it was when we came to Easter. Our house got lots of sweet things in it. There was loads of chocolate eggs and tins of chocolates, and I just didn't touch a single sweet thing. And I remember my sister saying to me, "Oh, no, come on, have some," because all the kids were around and they were all eating Easter eggs, and I just didn't want it. And I remember literally just sitting there watching everyone else eating it, thinking, "Oh, how could you eat that?" It was really weird because I've never experienced that with chocolates or sweets in pretty much my whole life.
While you've been listening to me today, you've probably been fantasizing about how good you're going to look in your bikini, that little black dress, or maybe even your wedding dress. Or perhaps you've been picturing the jealous stares of your friends and colleagues. But let me ask you a serious question. How much do you value looking into your partner's eyes each morning? How much do you cherish cuddles with your children on the sofa? And how special are Christmases and holidays with your family? Because it's those moments that life is really all about. Life is precious and life is short, and it can be taken from you in the blink of an eye. I almost lost my life, and so I know too well just how quickly everything you love can be stolen from you. But I was given a second chance, and now I value every moment that I get to spend with the people I love most. The truth is, excess fat, belly fat in particular, can be life-threatening. Coronary heart disease, hypertension, atherosclerosis, kidney disease, fatty liver disease, breathing problems, type 2 diabetes, and even cancer can all be caused by obesity. You need to lose weight. You need to reclaim your health. And you need to be there for your family. This is more than just vanity. This is more than just toned arms and a flat belly. This is the difference between life and death. You cannot afford to pass up this opportunity to turn your life around. And so I strongly suggest you take action. Download the Surtees Method. Listen to Erin's soothing words and obliterate the unhealthy belly fat that could otherwise take your life. We truly wish that we could help every woman to lose weight and get their life back with the Surtees Method. But unfortunately, when our team is at maximum capacity, we will be forced to stop taking on new members. When word gets around that there's a weight loss solution that actually works, desperate women are prepared to fight tooth and nail to get their hands on it, especially when that solution is something that is proven to not only help women lose weight, but is proven to keep that weight off. And so if you would like to try the Surtees Method for yourself, to shed those excess pounds and to look and feel better than ever, you need to click the button on this page right now. Hesitation could mean missing out on your chance to live that healthy, happy, long life while looking and feeling amazing. Remember, I know how you're feeling. I'm an ordinary woman just like you, and once upon a time, I was where you may be now. Overweight, depressed, and feeling utterly hopeless. But I turned my life around, and you can too. It took a near-death experience and a chance discovery for me to finally lose the weight. But things don't need to get that bad for you. You can make a change right now, today, and then be there to see your son or daughter graduate, to play with your grandchildren, and to enjoy a long, active, and fulfilling retirement. You can lose the weight. You can change your life. And you will be happy again. And all it's going to take is the click of a button on this page right now. Imagine fitting into all the stylish clothes that you pass by at the mall as you opt for baggy t-shirts. Imagine feeling confident and sexy again and adding the spark back into your marriage. And imagine having the energy to do everything you want in life. You can do this. You will do this. And then life will be yours to enjoy to the fullest. I cannot wait for you to join me and the hundreds of other women who have experienced success with the Surtees Method. Join me now, and I'll speak to you again in just a moment. Hey, you're still here? Well, that's not a problem, because I wanted to take a moment to answer some of our most frequently asked questions so you can feel entirely confident with your decision to try the Surtees method today. First up, let's deal with some of the concerns we hear most often. I have bad genetics, a slow metabolism, I'm over 50, I have stubborn belly fat, I never lost my baby weight, I'm big boned. Can I really lose weight with the Surtees method? Absolutely. The way hypnosis works means that it can work for anyone, and it is especially effective for women over 30 with stubborn fat to lose. With Erin's unique method, your subconscious mind will be reprogrammed so it becomes automatic for you to eat the right foods at the right times in the right amounts. To no longer see food as a comfort or something to do when bored or stressed. You will no longer obsess about food and only think about it when you're hungry. As a result, a long-term, consistent, healthy relationship with food is created in your mindset, allowing you both to lose weight and to keep the weight off. I have diabetes, thyroid problems, heart disease. I'm taking various medications. Can I try the Surtees method? The Surtees method is for everyone. Although this program has not been designed to treat or cure any specific disease or medical condition, many of Erin's clients have reported decreased symptoms as well as vast improvements in overall health after following the program. I don't have much time to exercise. Can the Surtees method work for a very busy person? Most certainly. The program is not time-consuming and can fit easily into any schedule. This solution can work for you whether you're full-time employed, a busy mom, or simply don't have enough hours in the day. I'm celiac, vegetarian, pescatarian, vegan. I have food allergies. Can I use the Surtees method? Not a problem. The Surtees method is accommodating of any and all dietary requirements. I can't afford a gym membership, supplements, superfoods, or at-home gym equipment. Can I use the Surtees method if I'm on a tight budget? Definitely. The Surtees method works for everyone, no matter your financial situation. Your new regime is about gaining the correct mindset rather than having to spend money on expensive food or equipment. And you will not be asked to join a gym or waste a single dollar of your money on nonsense ab crunchers or waist trainers, as they simply do not work. I've tried no end of diets in the past, and each time I regained the weight. Why is the Surtees method any different? No diet you've tried before has dealt with the underlying problem, the problem that has been perpetuating your weight loss, weight gain cycle, the caveman instinct, which has always pulled you back into bad habits. Hypnosis is currently the only solution that targets the fundamental cause of the problem for effortless, sustainable weight loss simply by altering your subconscious mindset and reversing the natural caveman instinct. With this method, you can not only lose the weight, you can keep it off. What should I do if I lose weight too quickly? Try not to panic. Seeing your body shrink rapidly can be quite a shock, especially when none of your clothes fit. But don't worry, it will just take some time for you to readjust to your new, slim, healthy body. Aaron has never known any of his clients to dip below a healthy body weight, so you have nothing to be concerned about. Could you please tell me more about the guarantee? Of course! I am certain that the Surtees method will help you to ditch that unsightly body fat and reclaim your health and your youth. However, you can rest assured knowing that your purchase will be protected by a 60-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not seeing the desired results 2 months from now, you will be given a full refund, no questions asked, which means you have absolutely nothing to lose. So go ahead and click that Add to Cart button. It's time for you to join a growing team of women by embarking upon your own weight loss journey. And you'll hear from me again in just a moment.